Detecting Talk of the Day number 2, 19 July, 3:09 p.m. We're going to feature the Manticore. Rattlehead's been using this machine. I believe he likes it, and he's been using that call. He's a member over there on the Friendly Farm, and he's got some good information. He's a real detective from all accounts I can see. The alternating general mode of this machine. What can be said about it? Well, it's sort of the best of both worlds, I guess. The better of both worlds. On both high and low conductors. Alright? Alternating low conductors does have some advantage, though, on low conductors. Alternating high conductors does have some advantage on high conductors. Well, I want to show you what could happen to you in the wild with this machine. And you may get food. And that old nickel could be down there. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be a nickel, but it could be. Now, that nickel's got a piece of plastic on top of it there. You see that. A non-metallic cover. Speed 4 in this video for demo purposes. Discrimination pattern. I've got the number 25 open, all the way to 29. Alright, that's what's open right now. You see it in there. So there's the solo nickel. You see the ID? Boom! No problem, huh? No problem whatsoever. So that might be a pretty good nickel winner on this machine. And even if we extend this top number, I'll even try to do it in this video here. Let's see if I can pull this off. There's 29, there's 30. Okay, I've extended it to 30. So 24 through 30 is open. You get to hear that nickel. Now notice that upper Ferris limits there, what I've done. And I've showed this before too. The number 70. Now I am using the M9 call. The number 70 might be a good place to be. Using the M9, you could probably run 68 with a stock and 72 with the M8. But now the M8 call is probably going to fool you more in the wild, odds-wise. Alright, so watch what happens here. Alright, so you see by this setting, and you got to hear this machine. You see where it's reporting in there, right? So now you're out in the old wild. Now remember, these are not grounded. Look at there, that old nail is over that. Now this is the easy way. Let me move it a little more here. You hear that? Hear what's going on? So you might miss that nickel there, huh? With that notch. That's not too fast of a sweep. That's depth audio. You hear that? So it's trying to come out. Now remember, I extended that number all the way to 30 for it being open, okay? I'll go back and close the number 30 off. Let's sweep it again. Now this is 24 through 29 open. So you see you can miss that nickel. Watch what happens over here. You hear that? Look where that machine is reporting up there. Okay? So what this machine is doing in that area right there is probably telling you, especially when you rotate over here, and I'm going to mash the horseshoe button. See the ID? So that's not telling you that's a nickel. But if you've seen that right there, see where that screen's painting? And then you turn. And you were running, you know, even if you mash the horseshoe button, maybe you are running notch. You get to see it with a horseshoe button out. See there? We get to see that. We see it over there outside of our notch window. It's broken. You see that? So that would suggest to you what? Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't believe the ID on this machine. And oh, maybe there's a nail down there. And maybe this would be a target that somebody else has been in there and they passed it for a nickel because of the ID. You see what I'm saying? Because it's not giving. I'm mashing the horseshoe button. Now I'm over here at the easy way. The nickel is in play. See that ID? Look at that. See that ID, what it likes to do? Okay, now I'm going to remove the nail. Now just the nickel is there. So you hear these people make comments. Oh, I dig these signals that are consistent and they turn out to be nickels. Well, that's probably true. But what about that situation with that nail over it? You see what I'm saying? Now I could probably elevate that nail. I may actually try. Let me turn this camera off briefly. Camera back on. Now I added another piece of plastic for nail elevation. That nickel's in there, boys. Okay? Now this is the easy way, and I've got the notch in the machine. See it there? Hear what happens? It's gone. Because we've complicated it even more. But we get to see the ID. The only problem is we don't get any audio because we've got it notched. Hear that? See it? It's in the screen right there. Now we're going to come over here. The old sharpshooter's little tip. Uh-oh, look at there. You hear that? Again, look where it's reporting. Okay, now I'm going to mash the horseshoe button just to take the notch out of the machine. So if I seen this, see where it's reporting? If I seen that, I rotate. Oh, that ID, that's not a nickel ID, is it? But we know that's a nickel down there, don't we? Now, that could be a gold ring. It could be a lower conductive relic. Basically, it could be a lower conductive anything, but here's the real nice part about this. I'm going to turn the horseshoe button off. Now watch this. You see what that machine's doing? Now I am still in the all-terrain general program. You see what that machine is doing? When it does that right there, you can almost bet the farm that when you rotate on this target, you're not going to see an 8 or a 4 or probably a 12. Okay, I'm going to mash the horseshoe button. You see how high that's reading? You're not going to see a foil ID because the foil, if it's in that position and that iron is down there, this machine will not yield what you see right there. Basically, what this machine will see is the nail. Now, you're running that number at number 70 with the M9 coil, okay? There's the nail. Maybe you can see it in that camera there, okay? So, what the foil might do are some smaller non-ferrous, what we would probably consider insignificant find. It may bring that trace slightly over to the right, but it's not going to get out there where it gives you audio. So anytime you see what you seen when that nickel was in there, I'm not even going to elevate it. I'm just going to lay it in there beside it right there, just like that. You hear that? Well, anytime you see that right there, you can rotate. You're not forced to dig it. Now, I'm going to turn the horseshoe since I got the notch in the machine. Of course, you can still see the ID on it. With a notch in the machine, you know, you get to look at that dot. You get to see what it's doing. I'll go ahead and put it back in there in the elevated state right quick. More elevated. You see that. Okay. So you see where the dot is. That's a nice good thing about this machine. You can get audio this way. And even if it's outside of your notch, you still get an indication. See there, you still get an indication. Look at that, see it? You still get an indication. So you know that's outside the nickel window, but the question is, what is it? Well, you won't know till you dig it. Now, in this configuration, I've got a nickel window open. I'm even going to mash the horseshoe button. Now we don't have any notch. What do we hear? The nickel is down there. And what I'm going to do, there's upper Ferris limits number 7, speed 4. Horseshoe in. So if you come across that nickel like that with this machine, in any mode, with an upper Ferris limit 7 or 6, I mean, look, we can even go in here. I won't shit you, there's upper Ferris limit 5. What do you hear? You blow right by that nickel. Right by it. The sharpshooter's custom program, even if we have a nickel window, we've got some trash notched out. But if there happen to be a nickel in that position, or a piece of trash, or a gold ring that might read different than a nickel, we might hear it, and we may rotate, and we may not get nickel ID. Well, if I was in a site that had some potential for an old nickel, you might just go ahead and dig that. Yeah, you might cash out with a gold ring. You never know. So you can see how this right here can pose a problem. Now watch this. I'll show you this as I got this camera running. All-terrain low conductor, speed 4. How about that? Now, the nail is elevated. Notice that. Look at that, what you got. You see that ID? All right. Now I'm going to take the nail off. Now all that's there is the nickel. Hardly any change of ID, huh? Unlike all-terrain general. And the same would be said of all-terrain high conductors. But remember, all-terrain general is sort of a better of both worlds on this machine. High and low conductors. It does have disadvantage. You could use your soft keys, running all-terrain general. You could have all-terrain low conductor set up as a favorite mode. And if you come over that right there and you got a 33 or whatever in all-terrain general, you can switch programs. Ain't really it's not necessary in my opinion, but you see what that old sharpshooter's little, you see that right there? In these old sites and these sites that people have been in, you just don't know what they have left. Right there. You see that? Now, that situation you know, it has to exist before you would get any advantage, but you don't know if it exists in there or not. But if a find can't be found, but yet it can be found with certain metal detector, certain settings, that may be the only way you find out it's in there. You hear that? See, that's not nickel ID. Notice that. You don't really care what, all you're seeing is you see it's come out from under your upper ferrous limit setting over there, because that's what this machine does with lower conductors coming down nails like that. You see that? That's going to conclude the video. Have a nice day.